Hey everybody, it's Chris Crawford at Spring Branch Air Conditioning. I wanted to talk to you today about evaporator coils and how they have changed dramatically up in the attic space. So first and foremost, the biggest thing that's been happening with evaporator coils in the past is that when they are 3 to 5 years old, a technician comes and says you're low on refrigerant and your evaporator coil is leaking. Here's why. If you see this coil, 98% of all of the tubing that you see is all aluminum. This is new. It used to all be copper. The reason that we've changed from copper to aluminum is because of corrosion issues. The way we make our houses these days are totally different. They're full of chemicals. Carpet has chemicals in it. All the wood isn't real wood. It's all held together with bonds and glues, and there's so many chemicals in our home. Every time that AC turns on, the chemicals come through this unit and it deposits all those chemicals on the copper and it slowly eats away at it. 3 to 5 years later, you have a copper coil leak issue and you have to replace the evaporator coil. And if you're lucky, it might be under warranty. If you're not, it's not so much. So the biggest thing that have changed on these coils is that 98% of all of the stuff that you see in here, all aluminum instead of copper. The reason that you see this little bit of copper is because when we make our connections going to the outdoor unit, we have to use copper tubing there. So one of the other things that has changed is that this is a thermal expansion valve. This thermal expansion valve is going to constantly alternate opening and closing to allow the proper amount of refrigerant to go through this coil before it goes back to the outdoor unit. This is a major bump in your efficiency. Back in the day, it was just a single piston with a single size hole through it, and it constantly let the same amount of refrigerant all the time. Not efficient at all, right? So that is a major change. Also on this coil, you can see the thermal expansion valve is included on the unit and it's internal. This is a much better design than before. Used to, they would come separately. We would have to mount them externally on the evaporator coil. We would have to braze it onto the unit, and then we'd have to cover it in all kinds of insulation to keep it from condensating. Big pain in the tail, not efficient. Much better design. I also like the way that on this, the attachments that we have to use on a horizontal application, which is in most houses these days, all the attachments are on top. Back in the day, they used to be on the side of the unit, and it's always in the way. People walking by are kicking on it, tripping on it. When you're stacking your boxes and things in your attic space, you're banging on it. Creates a big headache. Love this design that they put it up on the top and that the access door to the unit is up on the top as well. From a service standpoint, that's very nice. Also, they've included drains on both sides of the coil. Back in the day, that never happened either. You just had one side and it was usually the wrong one. Big pain in the tail. And if you've ever heard the terms primary and secondary or emergency drain line, this is what you're looking at. If you see this green plug in here, you can see that the water is going to come inside of this indentation and drain out. This is your primary drain. If the water gets higher, because this drain is plugged up, it's going to go over this lip and go out the emergency or secondary drain. Love that this is here. Love that it's on both sides. Makes a lot of sense. So somebody, in this case, Armstrong and ADP, has done a great job of designing a new evaporator coil for horizontal applications, which is in most houses here in the Houston area. Hey guys, I'm Chris Crawford with Spring Branch Air Conditioning. If we can ever be of any assistance to you, call us at any time, 713-213-2683, or you can find us online at any time at springbranchac.com. Thanks.